Hey there, we're Stonebrother. We're taking you behind the songs on our new album, New World Incorporated. This is Swan Song.
Yes, it certainly is. This one, very different from the other songs on the album and the songs that we do generally.
It is?
And I've always really liked that about it. I like that it's a slower, more somber, kind of introspective kind of thing, which was not the original plan for it, which is interesting, because I wrote the original lyrics on this one, and you added in some stuff and modified them from there. But sort of the backstory, I guess, before we get into that, for this song is it came from when I was in grade 12 during an English class. We watched the documentary The Social Dilemma, which for those of you who have not seen it, I absolutely recommend it. It's absolutely incredible. But it's basically about social media and the impacts that it's had on the world at large and the different ways that it influences us in the way that we think and perceive the world. A couple of the big takeaways that I had from that one were the concept of political polarization, which we explore a bit more in depth a little later on the album.
Stay tuned.
Coming soon. But additionally, the way that because people are so on their devices all the time and using social media constantly for the majority of social interaction these days, it seems, the fact that they're so algorithmically based, algorithmically I think is a word?
Sure.
Algorithmically is a word. It's the adverb form of algorithm. We're going to use it as though it is one, though.
Absolutely.
Because it's so built around these algorithms, and those are controlled inherently by a company, not by the people using the device itself. That sort of leads to people's worldviews being shaped by what's shown to them on the screen rather than what they actually think from their own lived experiences. So that's where lines like what you hear is what you think came from, whereas you hear this because it was shown to you on whatever app you're using, and so it's the only thing that you think. And the way that that's having demonstrably, and I don't try to sound like one of those ranting, raving, social media bad kind of guys. I do think that social media is good in certain respects, but it's important to acknowledge this stuff as well.
Sure.
In particular, the way that because people are so focused on this and because it shapes so much of how we perceive the world, the line "to argue is to speak to those who are wrong" in particular is supposed to mirror what we see all the time, where because we see things and they're so ingrained into us, it's hard to get out of that mindset of what I think is right and anyone who doesn't agree with me is definitely wrong. It's sort of supposed to be a little bit of satire reflecting that black and white view of the world and saying that people should be able to talk to people that have different opinions and still find some common ground to make any kind of positive change in the world.
Yep.
And I believe this would be a good time to get out of the ranting and raving section and move back into the fun storytelling part of the video.
Sure.
And now for something completely different.
Because that was the original concept for it, and in keeping with how angry a lot of those lyrics are, it was supposed to be a lot more high energy rock and roll kind of vibe, because I was listening to Slaves to the Grind by Skid Row a lot when I was writing those original lyrics, because that's just a great album.
Great album.
Absolutely great album. But so I sent you those lyrics, and I think I might have actually mentioned this is sort of a high energy Skid Row kind of thing, but then you had different thoughts for it.
I did. I have no idea why, but I think I started by reading the lyrics, and that sort of guitar riff just came to me for some reason, and then I kept building from there. And I remember I was sitting in the old 98 Mazda pickup in the parking lot of the Twin Oaks Hospital in Muscatawbet Harbor for some reason. Don't remember why. And I had this old Beaver Creek guitar. That was my first guitar, I believe. And reading the lyrics, and I came up with that riff right on the spot, and I took your lyrics, and I think I doubled the verse and put my own lyrics in there. I
think you're right about that.
I don't remember whose was whose at this point.
It doesn't
but
matter.
It doesn't matter. And that was pretty much that song, more or less. We added a few bits and bobs as we went, but that was very much the bones of it was right there.
Yeah, it weirdly, as easy as it was to put it together, it did kind of take a little while to really finish it. And weirdly, we didn't really get it into like a finished place until we ran it a couple times in a bit more of like a public jam kind of situation.
Yep.
I think there might be something about the idea of just having a little bit of an audience. It wasn't like a big audience, it was just like 4 people in the room or something like that. But just the fact that we were playing it for other people sort of got us in the mindset of, all right, this needs to be finished to show to other people. So I guess that sort of got us in a bit more of a crunch to actually get it to a finished place. And it worked out for us.
Absolutely, it did. Yep, and this one, of course, along with all the other ones, was a blast to record.
Yep.
They all worked.
Yep.
This one I liked for the reason that it was very contrary to everything else that we did on the album. It was a lot more atmospheric, and so I think the idea that we had was like wandering through a mist-filled forest and coming across a clearing where there's people playing this song or something to that effect.
Yeah, and as crazy and esoteric as that is, once again, got to give all the love and respect in the world to Lil for managing to make it sound as incredible and ethereal as it does.
Taking our incoherent ramblings and turning them into some sort of direction.
Well, he's a professional. He's heard it all.
No question about that.
He's heard it all at this point.
I like the key work on this one. That's my favorite part of the song ever.
There's a few different layers of keys on that, because I knew going in that we wanted like a piano sound on it, and I talk a couple times now about the grand piano that was at the Sonic Temple while we were there.
Yep.
Because we didn't know it was going to be there. And so we got there and there's just this grand piano, and Lil says, yeah, and it was just tuned.
Yeah.
And so we went, awesome!
Well, you have to.
Yeah. So it was at that point, and I was, when we were getting into the recording of this, really coming out of a big Pink Floyd phase that I was going through. And so sitting down and playing that, and the best way that I can describe it is sort of like the piano on a Great Gig in the Sky. Because the keyboard on that, honestly on the entire album, is just very alive. And it's the same way with the one at Sonic Temple, where you can almost feel it like breathing with the energy of the song because of what a beautiful instrument it really is. And so it was great having that just absolutely ethereal kind of keyboard sound on it for the main piano track. But I also wanted to have a couple more layers of... we don't tend to use like synthesized sounds very often. No. We tend to be very much like we play the sounds ourselves with what we can get naturally.
It's usually pretty organic.
Yeah. But we did use my Roland electric keyboard for a couple of sounds. There was one synth tone that I really wanted to have for a couple of little flourishes that sounds like something off of Wuthering Heights by Kate Bush. Great song. And I also wanted to, and we don't do this very often, and in fact I think this is the only time we've ever even considered it before, having a string section in it. But naturally we can't just call up a symphony orchestra and get them to record something, and so that was once again a very digital kind of thing, just like great big chords and holding on them and waiting for the next chord change and then sort of following from there. And I don't think it was necessarily a challenge for Lil, because he's absolutely incredible at what he does, but he did mention a couple of times that it's kind of tricky to get strings, especially synthetic strings like that, to sit well in a mix, because when they're lower, more bass frequencies like that, they tend to overpower stuff. But to his credit, once again, I think he did an incredible job, because
he made it work.
If you're really listening for it, you can hear the strings throughout it, but they're especially apparent right at the very end of the song, and I think that's good. It just sort of like holds out that energy just a little while longer and sits and resonates with that a little bit.
Yeah, and then The version that we just released a few weeks ago is slightly different again, but largely in the same vein.
Yeah.
That was a different keyboard though, right?
Oh yeah, that one was also a different keyboard, but weirdly I don't know what it was that you did with that. Maybe it was something in the reverb that you threw onto it, but it almost, not nearly as good necessarily because it's an electric keyboard, but it sounds a lot like the actual grand piano that was at Sonic.
Yeah, well,
So it was really cool to be able to get something close to that sound.
I think it was just there's a reverb tank built into that one. I think it was a Nord, courtesy of, and this is where we're at. We recorded that video at Marine Drive Talent Management Studio, courtesy of our good friend Nick Pettipaw.
Indeed, thank you very much, Nick.
And it was a gorgeous Nord that was the piano on that.
Yep.
I believe it had that reverb already on it, so I didn't do very much to the piano when I produced that track.
Yeah.
But it worked out well.
Definitely.
I liked that. That was a fun experiment doing that there.
Yeah, well, a lot of the songs that we do work well when they're in more stripped down versions, but I think Swan Song particularly is built to have that done to it, to be just piano vocal like that, because it allows I don't want to sound like a hippie or anything, but it lets the meaning of the song really shine through when it's stripped down like that.
Yeah.
In a similar way that it just works.
Yeah, I agree.
It just works.
It works. We do it when we do the duo stuff occasionally. We do it that way, and we also do it as the full band, and it's just fun to do, no matter how you do it.
Yep.
Either way, it's a blast to play live.
Absolutely.
Because it is so different. It breaks up the set pretty well.
Yeah.
And the first time I used to sing that song, I used to sing that lead on that song all the time, and it must be like 2 years ago now or so.
Something like
that. We switched that over to you, and I think you've done it steady ever since, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
That was a big show that we on a big stage that we played, and I was sick. I was so sick.
It's the way it always tends to be.
Could hardly breathe.
Yeah.
And like the whole idea, the thought process was, I don't know if I'll be able to do this set. You might have to take the whole set. And I drank so much water that I kind of managed to flush it out enough that I could get through the set. But I figured this is a way more open song. To play it safe, you should probably take this one.
Yeah.
And kind of kept it from there.
Yeah. And another weird thing about this song in particular, it's so different from everything else that we do, not only because of how laid back and stripped down it feels, but this is the only song that doesn't have a bunch of harmonies on it.
That's true.
Like, it's pretty much... I don't think we did any harmonies at all in the recording, did we?
We just couldn't find a place for it because there was so much other stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, you throw them on every now and then when we're playing it live, even with the full band, but in the recording, it's just the one vocal. It's just you on it.
Yeah.
So that's a weird change of pace for us.
Yeah, there's usually harmonies on everything. So on that particular one, there was so much going on. There just wasn't room for it anymore.
No.
And that was... I talked about that with Lil, and he liked it as is, so we kept it.
Yeah, I think it's good as it is.
Yeah, well, it worked out.
Yeah.
It's got some moderate success going on the interwebs and everything. Mm-hmm. People seem to like it. So.
Yeah. I like it too.
Indeed.
Well, that was this episode of Behind the Song, Behind the Album, whatever you want to call it.
Behind the band.
Behind the band is soundproof paneling and cowbells. So, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in the next one. If you like what you see and have never seen us before and this just randomly showed up, you can follow us at Stonebrother online. I haven't said that for any others, but I'll say it here because why not?
Do it a bunch.
Because this video isn't long enough as it is. 22 minutes and 42 seconds going on now. Good lord. Anyway, we will see you in the next one.
Thumb.